All praises and glory goes to our mighty power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutations unto the legmen feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, in sincerity and truth with this great gospel coming out of our Bible, And like we've been telling you, man, these people, they about to rob everybody. And who are these people? The elites, right, of the Edomites, or the Edomite, Esau, Edom, the wicked that the scriptures speak of. Right, this devil has been set up on earth to be what a cancer to this society, man. Right, what did the scriptures say once this motherfucker multiplied on earth? It's the book of First Maccabees 1:9. It says, and after his death, they all put on crowns upon themselves. After whose death? Mr. Alexander. They call him Alexander the Great. Right? It says, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth, right? Because after Alexander died, who took over? His generals, the men under him. And what it said, evils multiplied. These motherfuckers went to war with each other, right? And they also slaughtered this Alexander's family. When you read about the history of these devils, right? Because these devils are not about peace. They're about death and destruction and stealing. That's the main fucking thing. They some thieves. And they doing the biggest robbery of all right now. Right, why they got you people in this society fighting each other, right? They taking all the riches, they building these bunkers and these hideaway places for what? Doomsday, for the end of the world, because they see it coming. They see it coming. It is the end of their world. And also it's the end of your punk ass society. You people still holding on to what? Spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. The dollar is dying, right? The system is collapsing. The good old days is vanishing. The ways things used to operate no longer operate the same way, right? You got AI taking over, right? You got rich motherfuckers like Elon Musk telling you people what he telling you peoples. He's saying, Elon Musk says retirement savings will be irrelevant. Why? Because they going digital, baby. They going digital, plus they setting up what that NWO Izzy, right? That NWO Izzy, it says, your war with a new financial world order and how, it says, Salaki, new financial order and how to fight back. Carol Roth, man, ain't no fighting back, right? Because it says you will own nothing. You will not own a house. You will not own a car. You will not have a business, stocks. Even your own lives don't belong to you underneath these wicked motherfuckers, right? These elites.
And today we are talking about how the world's richest man says saving for retirement is pointless. Laz?
Yeah, and when you're worth an estimated $700 billion, maybe your retirement is looking pretty secure, but for the rest of us, it's a little bit dodgy. Nevertheless, Elon Musk is advising just that. He's telling people, yeah, don't worry about your retirement. There's no need to be saving money. Now, what we're talking about here is Musk saying in a recent podcast that AI and robots will usher in a world without want or need. What he said was, quote, don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement in 10 or 20 years. It won't matter. What he said was, quote, don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement in 10 or 20 years. It won't matter. In the relatively near future, he said, quote, you can have whatever you want. Musk is, of course, heavily invested in both AI and robots, so he's not exactly a neutral observer here. In any case, pie in the sky prognostications notwithstanding, this is terrible advice. Whatever neutral observer here, in any case, pie in the sky prognostications notwithstanding, this is terrible advice.
Yeah, this is terrible advice. Especially coming from somebody who's not worried about money and wealth. Right? You gotta realize these Edomites who are sitting on top with all these wealth, man, they don't give a damn about the regular people of society. Right? They're not beneficial to the people of this society. They're all about getting more and more, right? It says John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. That's the only thing on their minds. That's the only thing on their minds. When they go to these meetings, it's about what? How can we take more from this place? How can we set up disorder in this place. They're all about death, destruction, disorder. And the main thing, stealing them some motherfucking thieves and white men and white women. Right? It says the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. That's why we need Yahushua, right? What it says. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus 10 verse 4. It says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, right? Because through Yahushua there is life abundantly for who? The children of Israel. For the children of Israel. We're not speaking to other nations. Who's going to build up the kingdom? The nations who have destroyed the kingdom, right? It says the time has come. Let's get this verse. Here we go. Revelation 11 and 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, right? And are we in the time where the nations are angry right now? The nations are very upset. It's so bad that what they're leaving Babylon the Great alone. They're doing business with other nations.
What's up, family? Well, he did it. Donald Trump, your president, has successfully alienated America's allies like no other president in history has done before. Yeah, fam, he got Canada, who has been rocking with the United States for decades and decades and decades, has joined forces with Europe, and it's just not looking good, fam. Canada is doing business with China. I'm talking about madness on a grand scale. This dude is going to get all of us killed. And look, I'm gonna go ahead and make my plea right now. On a grand scale, this dude is going to get all of us killed. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my plea right now. Any of you countries out there, any of the dignitaries, if you hear my voice, I am telling you, I'm not in it, man. I ain't had nothing to do with it. You know, when y'all come, don't mess with me. Don't mess with my people, man. We ain't have nothing to do with it. No, we didn't have anything to do with this, man. Leave. I ain't had nothing to do with it. You know, when y'all come, don't mess with me. Don't mess with my people, man. We ain't have nothing to do with it. No, we didn't have anything to do with this, man. Leave us out of it. Get at him directly. You didn't have anything to do with this, man. Leave us out of it. Get at him directly. You know, I heard Iran made a threat. Iran, you know, they put a price on his head. But Iran, you know, they put a price on his head. I don't know what that price is, but they did say they coming for him, and they said they will not miss.
Yeah, I'm going to read it again. Revelation 11:18. It reads, and the nations were angry. Right? How many nations? You got Venezuela. They're angry. Nigeria's angry. Mexico's angry. Right? Canada's angry. The European nations are angry. Russia's angry. China's angry. North Korea's angry. Man, we could keep going all day. America is not making friends. America is making enemies. It's being alienated from the societies. That's why it says she's going to be burnt. Right? Revelation 11:18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged. And thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And that's what the Lord's about to do. The Lord's about to use these other nations to destroy who destroyed the earth. Esau, Edom, man, America. America going around the world dropping bombs in every fucking country, invading different countries, just doing whatever the hell they want to do. Because of that fucking pride, right? It says pride goeth before destruction. Right? And that's what's about to happen. And that's why these devils, they tell you, man, don't worry about no goddamn money. Don't worry about no future, because there ain't going to be no goddamn future for a lot of you people. For a lot of you people. Because this is where a lot of you people about to perish in this collapse of this American society, man. We already know what happens when the dollar collapses. It's all out war on the streets for what the last of the resources, the last of the resources. And what's the Lord gonna do? He's gonna make sure them resources vanish quickly, right? It's gonna be fucking no water, no rain coming down. It's gonna be droughts. It's gonna be famines. It's gonna be mass hunger. What comes with that hunger? Angry people, desperate people, right? People not knowing what they're gonna do next. What the scriptures say, right? The Bible tell us to measure thou the times diligently in itself. And we seen the signs come to pass. We seen the uproars of the people. We seen the earthquakes, right? We seen different things happen in diverse places, and it's all leading what to the coming of our Lord, right? Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal. We see this is not a time of healing, right? It's a time of healing for who? The elect of the children of Israel, because our wounds are being healed up through what this gospel, right? We're understanding how, right? We're being cleansed. Right, our wounds are being cleansed through what the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord. Following after the Lord, that brings life. Anything else is death, right? So for your wound to open up more, you got to continue to stay in this world. That's why it says the whole head is sick, right? Sick with the philosophies and doctrines of this society, sick with the ways of this world. And these are the things we're trying to avoid through the power and strength of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It says a time to born and a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. America is being broken down systematically, financially, spiritually, right? People don't believe in that white Jesus no more. People don't believe in that Christianity no more. You see comedians like the Drewski character making fun of Christianity. That's the biggest joke right now, is Christianity, right? It says in a time to build up, a time to weep. This is definitely the time of weeping, right? A loss of jobs, loss of houses, loss of finances, loss of mental capacity. It's a lot of people going insane in the membrane because they never thought these things would happen. We've been to telling people this was coming to pass. Right? You think the Lord just had men on the streets yelling, screaming about prophecy for no reason while you stupid motherfuckers walk past? And now you're part of that calamity. Right? You see Willie D talking about when these other nations come, leave his people alone. Man, get the fuck out of here. You people about to be part of this collateral damage. Right? And DJ T gonna make sure that you motherfuckers is part of his plan. And if you ain't part of his plan, he's gonna execute you. Right? Because it talks about if a war breaks out like in ancient Egypt, what did Pharaoh say? Let us deal wisely with this people, lest a war break out and they join unto the other nations. That's the same way these devils going to be looking at you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans here in America. They're going to have to deal wisely with your asses. That's why they said cut off the visas for a lot of you Israelite countries. A lot of you countries that you Israelites are scattered in, the visa's been cut off, right? Who's the main motherfuckers being deported? Hispanics. You got Native Americans getting kicked the fuck out. You got niggas getting shot and snatched up, right? So it's obvious they're going after who? The children of Israel, right? It says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, right? This ain't no time to be embracing these people, man. It says, come out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her sins and her plagues, man. Because guess what? You hold on to the ways of Babylon the Great, you gonna eat a fucking missile. Or you're gonna end up eating one of them monkey little motherfuckers in your house. One of them family members. Because when ain't no food, what you gonna do? The Lord ain't gonna feed you. But what did the Lord say? My servants shall eat. Yeah, they gonna have rejoice of heart while other motherfuckers gonna be losing their minds. That's the future, right? A time to get and a time to lose, and America is losing. America's losing bad.
Get at him directly. You know, I heard Iran made a threat. Iran, They put a price on his head. I don't know what that price is, but they did say they coming for him, and they said they will not miss. That's what Iran said. Iran said they're coming, and they will not miss. I'm saying, Mr. Iran, say, man, leave us out of it, man. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We had no say-so whatsoever. We're just as much of a victim as the rest of the world.
For over a century, one country has stood above all others, the United States of America. Its flag flew on the moon, its dollar ruled global markets, and its military shaped world history. But every empire reaches a turning point, and for the first time since World War II, cracks are showing in America's foundation. By 2035, the world will look very different. Superpower ruling them all reaches a turning point, and for the first time since World War II, cracks are showing in America's foundation. By 2035, the world will look very different, because the era of one superpower ruling them all is ending, and a new global order is rising to take its place. This isn't the story of America's collapse. It's the story of a world catching up.
And that's what's happening. The world is catching up to Babylon the Great, right? It says, aren't you become as weak as we? Right? It's not that the world got stronger, it's that Babylon done went to being weaker. Right? That strength that Babylon, that might Babylon used to have, it don't have no more. That's why it says a time to get, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. It says a time of love and a time of hate. This is definitely a time of hate, right? When they putting hits on different politicians and presidents, when leaders in different countries are being kidnapped and wars are breaking out in multiple countries at the same time. This is not about love right now. That's why it says every man shall turn to their own people and flee to their own land. All these people who love being in other countries, they're going to get little, because it's not going to be safe. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Yeah, this is the time of war. And it's going to escalate, it's going to get worse. And we're looking for these things. These things lead to what? The kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, because this kingdom got to go down. This wicked society, ruled by who? Wicked, evil, rich men. Elon Musk, right? You got your Rothschilds, your Bowers, right? These elite families of the world who's all about what? Greed. It's all about greed. This is the book of James 5:1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men." Right? It's like it says, "Go to now, ye rich men, and weep and howl for the miseries that shall come upon you." Right? Because these rich men, they scoff and they telling you what?
Money. It is time for money, power, politics. Contrary to what the president claims, grocery prices are on the rise. But never fear, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins has a cost-saving solution for Americans that also follows new dietary guidelines. Watch this.
We've run over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to do this that actually will save the $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to do this that actually will save the average American consumer money.
Let's discuss with Natasha Sarin, former Treasury official and Yale law professor, and Justin Wolfers, a professor of economics and public policy at University of Michigan. It's great to have you both. So Natasha, I'm already laughing because of the concept of a single piece of broccoli and one piece of tortilla. But the funny thing about it to me is that we were just talking about regime change and the Trump administration's actions in Latin America. That sounds a whole lot like Latin American despots. Yeah. They love to tell people, you're going to get these rations per month, we're going to give you this, you can have this much milk for your family, you get this one piece of broccoli. Do they not see the irony here at all?
And it comes from an
broccoli. Do they not see the irony here at all?
Yeah, these rich people, they ain't thinking about no piece of broccoli and a piece of chicken. That's for you poor people. Right? They setting up a system for you poor people. That New World Order is for you poor motherfuckers. And they trying to turn 99% of society into that poor people, right? Where it's just 1% ruling overall. That 1%, but guess what the scriptures say? Go to now, ye rich men. This is the book of James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for the miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. It talks about they're going to throw their gold and silver in the streets, man. You ain't going to be able to do nothing with that shit, right? Because you really use this gold and silver to buy food. You got to realize everything goes back to what? Food. If you can't feed yourself, you ain't thinking about buying a house. Motherfucker, you can't even put no food in your stomach. Right? You ain't thinking about business. You ain't thinking about property and stacking up riches when you can't even put something in your stomach to give you energy to make it through the day. Right? Your gold and silver is cankered. The rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasures together for the last days, and that's what these people are doing. They robbing, they stealing, they trying to get everything for that last days thing. They gonna pop back up when everybody's dead, and they gonna have everything. But that's not how it's gonna be. Right? It says, behold, the hire of laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, cried. Right? It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. Right? These devils ain't giving you what you're supposed to be paid for the work that you do. Matter of fact, you're supposed to be paid the same day. But what do? They invest your money, make more money off of it, and give you chump change. Right? Which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabbath. Right? It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton, ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Right? Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Right? Because what's the main thing? The Lord's gonna rob the robbers. Right? The Lord finna rob these robbers and put their asses into slavery, and a lot of them gonna be put to death. Right? Exodus 21:16, it says, and if he that stealeth the man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. He shall surely be put to death. And guess what? We're still in the hands of our captives. Right? That's why Willie D saying, man, when China comes, when Russia comes, when North Korea comes, when all these other nations from around the world come, he said, leave me and my people alone. I ain't trying to hear that shit. They coming for the black man in America, the Chinese man in America, the Arab man in America. Any motherfucker in America is going to be part of that destruction, that judgment. I'm going to finish with Revelation 18:4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Right? And that's what's about to happen. The main plague is with that fire. Right? It says come out of her. The first way to come out of her is by the renewing of your mind. You can't be thinking like a Babylonian, like a spiritual sodomite Egyptian, like an American. Right? You got to let go of those mortal thoughts. Right? Because the judgment is right around the corner, and you see it being set up. You see it being set up. It's being cooked. Right? It's being prepped. It's being prepped, and it's soon to be unleashed on this place. Shalom.